Are you looking for the absolute best Buzz Frog rods on the market? We've got them for you today. That's what we're talking about. Guys, we're out here on the water. It's finally hoodie season. The first time we've been able to put the hoodie on this year. That means two things. That means one, women everywhere are getting really excited for pumpkin spice latte season. And two, the bass are going to start munching topwater. So we're talking buzz frogs. We got some nice patches of grass. They've grown up all summer long. They're starting to pull back a little bit. And the buzz frog is an awesome way to get some absolutely explosive strikes. Let's go through the ultimate buzz frog rods. So if you're new to the series, we've got three categories. We've got the under 150 price point, the under 300 price point, and the I don't care what it costs, just give me the best category. And so first of all, we're going to go through what criteria are we looking for on a good buzz frog rod. Number one, we want something over 7 foot. I'm looking for something ideally in the 7'2" to 7'6" range. I want to be able to make long casts. These fish that are around this grass are going to be more susceptible to fishing pressure, spookiness, all of the above than what you would typically think with fish around cover. So I want to get that frog as far away from the boat as possible. I want to be able to keep it in the strike zone for as long as possible, and the extra length on those rods are going to help me do that. So that's the first thing I want. The second thing I want is I want an absolute ton of backbone. I want something that has raw power. I can pull that fish out of cover. I have to worry about two different things. I have to worry about one, being able to get a really good hook set into that fish. And two, I need to be able to turn him and get him coming my way so that he can't get me wrapped up in a whole bunch of grass. And even if you're not around thick cover, you still want that fish coming back toward the boat. You want to be able to turn him. So we need power. That's the other thing. Next thing we need is we need enough tip to really launch that bait. So we have to have a very unique combination of a soft tip and a powerful backbone, which is fairly challenging to find, but that's why we're here and we've got you covered. So basically that covers what we're looking for. Now let's just get started in the three categories. So the first one we're going to do is the under 150 price point. And there are several good options here. There is one that I think is a clear-cut favorite in our staff eyes, and that's a 6 cents Milliken rod. And we featured a couple of these now, and we think they're a great value at that just under 150 price point. And the rod we've selected here is actually the Zark Special, which is the 7'4" heavy moderate. And so what we mentioned as the criteria, this checks all boxes. It is 7'4", perfect length in my mind. If I could pick one length, it would be 7'4". It's a heavy, has plenty of backbone, but it has that uniquely soft tip to where you can really load that rod up, make a nice long cast. Whenever you get a bite, you can make sure that that soft tip absorbs a little bit of the impact, creating a little bit of a delay before you reel down to it and absolutely smoke that fish's face. So it really does a great job of blending those two key components, and it's at a very reasonable price point. It's very lightweight rod too, which is just an added bonus, especially in that under 150. That's hard to achieve. If I had one drawback here, for my preference at least, it's got a little bit too long of a butt section, can become a little bit cumbersome. Not a big deal. It's just a touch too long. It's not dramatically so, but that's not a deal breaker for me by any means. But just if I was custom building a rod for buzz frog fishing, I would make it a touch shorter. So 6 cents Milliken series, we're going with the Zark Special, under 150 ultimate rod. Moving into the under 300 price point. This one was kind of a no-brainer for us because this has just been the rod since we started carrying this particular brand. We sell three of this exact model for every other rod that we sell in their entire lineup. And that's an ALX Zolo toad face. And as you can hear from the name alone, this is a toad fishing machine right here. So it is a 7 foot, I believe it's a 7'2", 7'2", medium heavy plus. So it is basically like a stiff medium heavy or a light heavy. It's kind of what we're looking for. The length checks the box we need. It's got the right backbone to it. The handle length is absolutely perfect. It's again another lightweight rod. You know, we once had a guy buy 10 of these, and that just blew my mind. 10 of the exact same rod, which tells you how versatile this is just beyond toad fishing. I'm going to assume he didn't have 10 buzz frogs rigged up at a time, but who knows? Nonetheless, it is an excellent rod. These are made in the USA, really cool kind of specialty niche brand. So we're a big fan of the ALX stuff, and this toad face just blends that perfect combination of power and tip and is an excellent choice. I think it comes in at $249, $259, somewhere in that range. So it's well under the $300 price point. Just an excellent rod, just a good workhorse rod, something that I highly recommend you taking a look at for these toad fishing applications. So that's an excellent one. Definitely give them a look. Really cool rod there. So then that leaves us with the I don't care what it costs, just give me the best category. And this was one it was a discussion for us all to kind of decide because there's plenty of really good options here. But I'm really happy with the rod we settled on. It's a Megabass product. It's this new Orochi X10, and it is the Swamp Survivor. And this is a absolute beast of a frog rod. It is 7'1", and it has so much power in it, it is hard to explain. It actually has a thicker blank and more backbone than what I would probably prefer if I was just building a rod from scratch. But they get away with it because it has this really, really cool and unique taper to it where the tip is still thick. It's just a thick diameter blank altogether. Not heavy, but it's just a thick diameter blank. And even though that tip is still a thicker diameter rod, it has a lot of play in it. It loads up really, really well. And that's just something you don't find in a lot of rods. And so even though it's a little bit more stiff and kind of clunky than what I would typically view as a buzz frog rod, it's kind of a more traditional frog rod, if you will, like a hollow body type of frog rod. But it just loads up so darn well. And it's one of those things when you can have the extra power, I'm not going to turn it down. So the fact that it has it is kind of a bonus to me, even though it kind of falls outside of the normal range of criteria that I would be looking for in a buzz frog rod. So it's just a very, very unique, and that's the only word I can really think to describe it, but unique blank and unique type of rod that I think plays really, really well. You can tell it is designed, this taper is designed to absolute perfection. And it's not just a frog rod to me. Like, I mean, you could throw, some 5-inch hollow body swim baits with it. You could throw a ton of different kind of moving bait rods where you want something that has a nice tip to it. But man, once that tip runs out and you lock into backbone, it's got some power. Like you can throw a frog in some heavy, heavy stuff. If you're down on Gunnersville or any of those heavy grass lakes down in Florida, you're going to be able to use this rod and turn a fish, and you're going to be able to move it very quickly. So I think this rod loads up really well. Hook sets are an absolute blast with this thing. You can really lay the smack down on them, and that's important. You need to drive that hook home, but it's not so stiff that it's going to blow a hole in their mouth. So can't say enough about this rod. They're $3.99. It's a fantastic choice. It wins our ultimate buzz toad rod, regardless of price. Guys, this is a fun way to fish. If you haven't done it, you need to try it. And if you don't have the right rod, it can really lead to some heartbreak because you got to have the right setup. Braid is a must. And even with the perfect setup, you're still going to miss fish because it's just the nature of topwater. But with the right tools, the right rod, the right line, you'll increase your hookup percentage. You'll have a lot of fun. It's a great way to catch fish. And most importantly, you need to go online to AmericanLegacyFishing.com. All of these rods are in stock right now. Get you geared up for the fall. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to have a blast. Appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like us below. Give us a subscribe, and we'll keep pumping out the content. Thank you guys. We'll see you on the water.